I'm going to talk to you some more about making your own runes. I first came across runes when I went to the Jorvik Centre when I was 8 years old. We bought the brochure and on the back it had the Saxon alphabet, and because I was already writing a journal at that point, I learnt the Saxon alphabet so that my parents couldn't read what I was writing in my journal. So I learnt to read and write runes from the age of 8, and then when I was 13, I met this awesome family who were ex-travellers, and she was the first person to say, did you know that you can do divination with runes? And I didn't know anything about that. And she was like, yeah, so, and she had a bag, and she said, so the first rune that you pull is your rune. And the rune that I pulled was Ing, which is a diamond. And I remember pulling the diamond, and so this is when I was 13. And then just as a side story, years later, I couldn't remember what my rune was. And when I was looking through all the sets and the alphabets, I couldn't see this diamond shape. And so I was like, okay, so I thought, well, you know, it's been a long time. I think it had been probably about 10 years or something. I'll just like pull another rune. So I pulled another rune out, and it was a diamond, but with the sticks poking out. So it looked like a sweet wrapper, like a sweet in a sweet wrapper, went like that. And when I looked that up, it was Ing. It was the same rune. It's just that the lines had been carried on. So you could just do it like this, or you could carry on the lines and make it like more like a sweet wrapper. So it was the same rune. And Ing represents male creative energy. So it's the sperm, basically. It's the seed. So it's the seed of possibility. And I definitely have that male energy in me, as I was talking about with past lives. And again, with something to do with past lives, my connection to runes feels very past lifey. So I feel like I knew about runes before, just because they came to me so easily. And yeah, I've been able to read and write them fluently for years. When I went to read The Hobbit, I could read the map at the front of The Hobbit. I can just read them as well as I can read normal language. But what I wanted to talk to you about was making your runes. So the first set that I made was from the conifer trees at the bottom of my garden. Pulled off the twigs, we cut them into little discs, and I had a pyrography kit, and I burnt the runes in. Then years later, at the Tudor reenactment that I worked at, I picked up pebbles from all around there, and I painted the runes on with acrylic paint. And then this set, which is the set that I now use, so these runes were made from stones collected at the gorge where the oldest cave paintings have been found that are in France. And it looks so Jurassic, like there's a river running through the gorge down the bottom. And if you get down there, it's incredible, this freshwater river. And yeah, it just feels like a dinosaur's going to come around the corner any moment. So I painted these runes, and I purposefully painted them with an acrylic that looks like blood. I wanted it to be kind of blood red. I think there might have been like a specific way that the direction that you're meant to do them. But one thing I know for sure is no one's got it written down anywhere from Norse times. So it's been made up, like all these things. But that's fine, that's good, you know. If you want to follow a certain direction with how you paint them, then do. But mainly I would say make up your own ritual and make it special for you. And so these stones are special to me because I collected them from the gorge where the ancient cave paintings are. I was there with the fools doing the fooling. It's when we were on the road with each other. And I, under the full moon, dipped every single one of these stones up my vagina. I put them up my vagina, and then I laid them out in the alphabetical order under the full moonlight, and I infused them with the power of my yoni and then the power of the moonlight, and made them magic. And yes, it gives me a little bit of a cheap thrill every time someone pulls one that I know where they've been. So sorry to everyone whose runes I've read, which is many people. There's my rune there, which is Ing. And you develop a special relationship with your rune, and that's, you know, it's a guiding force for me. And for me, it means transformation. And years later, I realised even my name meant that. So my original name is Jolie Pierce. Pierce spelled P-I-E-R-C-E. And Jolie means pretty, but it's kind of like jolly, happy, like a, you know, joyfully kind of buoyant, pretty kind of thing. So it just means like kind of pretty, happy transformation, like a pop when you burst something, things are no longer the same. And Kriya, which is the name of my business, is again the moment where you break karma. So karma is the repetition of patterns, and Kriya is the moment you break it. So I realised everything in my life kind of has that meaning to it. So Again, looking for these patterns for what your life's purpose is, and seeing what's there. Just going, oh yeah, that's kind of in my name. That's the rune that I pulled. My life is about supporting people with joyous, beautiful transformations. And each little pop makes the world a slightly better and more interesting place. But yeah, when you make your runes, do them with materials that are special to you, and you create the ritual however you want to create them. And remember, the first rune that you pull is your special rune, and that one you will keep dear to your heart. Enjoy.